Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is sponsored by Experian Boost. You can boost your FICO score immediately and permanently at Experian.com/inside.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside Gaming for Friday.
That's right, it's Friday! Yeah! How it got me?
RTX coming out. It's a slow news day, so we're gonna do the drama well once again.
Yep, it's time for another G2A story.
2 in 1 week? Who does G2A think it is? Anthem?
BioWare, please, for the love of God, create some Anthem news in the next 30 seconds so we don't have to talk about this goddamn story.
They didn't do it.
Did it come in?
No.
G2A it is.
All right, needless to say, the war between G2A and developers continues, and now G2A has once again promised to clean up its act. Right, Lawrence?
Yeah, it's awesome. Just a lot of back and forth, which makes for good YouTubing, I'll tell you that much. So if you haven't been following the drama, let's catch you up real quick. G2A is an online game retailer that many developers over the years have accused of being a gray market for selling stolen keys or keys purchased cheaply in other regions to circumvent regional pricing. G2A, for its part, has consistently denied this and said that everyone just doesn't understand their business model.
They don't understand.
We're the problem.
They don't understand what I am.
Listen to me.
They're
No
so
money on me.
they're just so cutting edge, we don't get it. So this drama recently bubbled up again, and G2A has been in the middle of a campaign to defend itself with long blog posts and even reaching out to news sites to see if they're dumb enough to publish an article defending G2A that G2A wrote itself.
And now G2A has a new tactic in its defensive public relations war. They propose to add a tool to block the sale of any keys that developers don't want on its marketplace.
But Bruce, this is G2A we're talking about, and of course, there is a catch.
What's the catch, Lawrence?
They're not actually making it.
Wait, what? That's not a catch at all. They're just not doing it.
Oh, well, not yet. This is the catch part. So they're not actually working on the key blocker right now. G2A says that would be time consuming and expensive.
You mean that's the job?
Yeah, well, I mean, the job is getting money while other people sell stolen stuff. The hard part is trying to make it legal.
Doing the work. Yeah.
I'm starting to feel a little bad about how rough we're being with G2A.
It's easy.
So they want developers to vote on whether or not they're actually interested in such a tool. Hint, they are. You don't have to, whatever. So they wrote, quote, "We will cover all the costs, of course. We just need to know that you, the developers, are going to use it." So they set up a form on their website for developers to show that they're interested. Kind of like change.org or something like that. According to G2A, if at least 100 sign up before August 15th, they'll start working on the key blocking tool.
They might sell your data. Be careful.
Yeah, I mean, make sure you have like a VPN or something when you're going to that website. You never know what's going to happen. G2A also said that they'll make the list of interested developers public to assure transparency, which is an interesting move.
I'm curious about that too, because all the publishers who were like, "F off G2A," have said it very publicly, so...
Of course it'd be public.
It's sort of a weird
Is
threat.
anyone accusing
I don't know.
G2A of like adding fake names to their own list to make a tool they don't want to make?
But why would they do any of that? None of that makes any sense.
Also, what's the verification process?
They finished up by saying, man, other things don't make sense. "We are aware that this proposal doesn't solve all the issues. Many developers would like to permanently remove their games from the free market. While we understand their point of view, it's not a black or white situation." Yeah, I know it is.
It's just your market. It's on the free market.
I mean, I guess it's a gray situation, but it leans more towards the dark side.
Just black or
than the
white.
light. I mean, yeah.
All you do is just say, you don't want to sell it? Okay, great, we won't sell it. It's that easy.
Still, this does sound like a tool that addresses developer concerns, perhaps too much. No.
Let's say that G2A makes good on their promise and actually creates a tool that allows developers and publishers to blacklist keys on the G2A marketplace. Why wouldn't they just, enter every single key they generate?
Lock it out, yeah.
Yeah,
That would lock G2A out of the secondhand market entirely, presumably driving those purchases right back to more legitimate retailers that also share revenue. Steam's, your whatever, what have you. Surely G2A has thought of that. I can't imagine that they were like, let's give developers a tool to blacklist keys so they can only put in the ones they give away for reviewers or for giveaways. I would just give them
Every
a
key.
30 megabyte text file of every single key.
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking here, because this is G2A we're talking about. Let's guess that if the tool, if it gets made, would be created in such a way that prevents the bulk entering of code. So imagine having to enter codes one at a time, then hitting a button and waiting for a little twirly thing for 10 seconds before it's like, you're good. Maybe you enter 10 and have to solve a CAPTCHA. That's intern work if I've ever heard it, giving somebody a stack of 5,000 keys and telling them to enter this in this god-awful tool that's being run on a Pentium 2 in Czechoslovakia or something.
We don't know that. I think they might be from China.
So yeah, we're not saying that's definitely how it'll be because it doesn't exist yet. But if we've learned one thing about G2A, it's that every offer comes with a very heavy string attached. So we're just trying to guess what that string will be before it's dangled in front of us, if it ever does.
Still, it sounds like a lot of developers aren't interested in playing ball at all. Indie developer Mike Rose started a change.org petition a week ago asking G2A to completely stop selling indie games on its platform.
I mean, they don't need the tool. They can just.
It's right there.
There's an email that just says, "Stop selling." And
Stop it.
Okay, and that's it. That's the end of it.
They're like, but money.
The Change.org petition currently has more than 5,000 signees, and it claims that G2A's platform hurts indie devs time and time again by allowing anyone to sell illegitimate keys for their games online with incredible ease and no ramifications or checks.
Not surprisingly, Rose wasn't impressed with G2A's promise to build a key blocker tool someday in the future, maybe possibly, if a bunch of 100 people sign up for it, and then we reveal who those people are.
Is 5,000 more than 100? I'm just curious.
It is.
So they've already done it. It just wasn't
G2A's
on-
math,
They've done it.
you don't understand why 5,000 is a bigger number than 100.
He called it a nice gesture, Mike Rose did. That might be useful, but added that it's just yet another example of G2A publicly making some positive sounding noise to glaze over the fact that they're not actually addressing the issue at all.
It was a positive, soft promise.
Yeah.
It was a, hey, I'm thinking about this. I'm not gonna do it unless you make me.
The bigger problem, Mike also said, is there are tons of sellers on G2A using bots to sell games using dodgy third-party links that completely bypass Steam's terms of service.
Yeah, he went on to accuse G2A of knowing that it's happening and purposely ignoring it.
Yeah, this is actually an interesting development, right, Lawrence?
This is something that I didn't know about. So one of G2A's primary defenses against individual theft is that end users can't typically buy game keys a la carte.
Right.
It's actually pretty hard to do. You can get it through bundles like Humble Bundle, you redeem codes and then you copy them over. That's the system working as intended. Let's say you buy a bundle, you want 2 out of the 3 games, the third one, you're just like, oh, I'll get $5 on this, sell it on G2A. But if you buy a game from Steam, you don't get a code, it redeems directly to your account. Or it gives you an inventory item that you can then trade to another Steam user directly. Either way, you don't see the key, which means you can't sell it on G2A. Having to explicitly trade with another Steam user is a way of preventing the mass sale of stolen keys. You'd have to individually add each person that bought a key from you, which makes it too time consuming and aggravating, and also there are friendless caps to trade and stuff like that. So at least that's how Steam's terms of service would have it done, which is supposed to prevent theft. Apparently now there are third-party websites that allow Steam trades to go through an intermediary, meaning you can circumvent Steam's terms of service and list Steam gifts as a sale item, which is happening on G2A right now.
Oh.
So yeah, technically developers are allowed to invalidate any game sold on Steam that circumvents the terms of service, but again, that puts the burden on the developers to investigate when and how this is happening, and leaves both the developer and the game buyer stuck with the bill of a fraudulent sale. So we're right back to where we started, and yeah, there are Steam gifts being sold on G2A right now, especially for Descenders, which is what Mike Rose is kind of upset about. So this is one of those things again where it's technically true with G2A saying you can't sell keys, but there's still other things that they're not talking about.
If you email G2A and say, don't sell our keys, and they go, okay, and then they stop. That's it. That's all it takes.
Anyway, let's throw it back to that petition we were talking about earlier. G2A has said in the past that only 8% of its sales come from indie games, the AAA games making up the rest.
Okay, if that's true, the petition says that G2A could surely take an 8% hit to their sales if it means making 99% of developers in the industry happier and allowing us to retain the perceived value of our games.
Yeah, other indie devs like Rami Ismail have said that they're hurt particularly bad by G2A because, quote, they cost a large number of indies a lot of time and investment in countermeasures.
Yeah, and G2A does have a history of selling stolen stuff.
Yes, this back in 2015, Ubisoft deactivated thousands of keys after it found out they were purchased with stolen credit cards, and then, drumroll please, they were sold in places like G2A!
What a surprise. After a revolt from gamers, it left the keys active.
Yeah, some thieves have even gone on the record admitting to selling their stolen wares on G2A.
Lawrence, tell us about this Brazilian hacker.
Yeah, I love it. This is from a Kotaku interview in 2016. This hacker said he made more than $500 reselling the keys he stole from the indie developer Manga Gamer.
Manga Gamer.
How could I get that wrong? I'm so sorry. From the indie developer Manga Gamer on G2A. The hacker told Kotaku that, quote, G2A is one of the great sites to sell fraudulent keys.
Oh, wow.
That's a winning endorsement right there.
It really is from a hacker even.
Slap that on your website, G2A.
To be fair, because I have to be fair, this is honest journalism over there. G2A doesn't deny that that happens. They just say it's such a tiny fraction of their overall business.
Okay.
And that most of their business is just legitimate buyers and sellers getting the products they want.
All right.
Yeah.
Once again, I know they're trying to make the eBay comparison where they're like, we're just created a platform for people to do this. The thing is, when someone steals my bike and then they sell it on eBay, the bike manufacturer isn't getting hit with that.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
This is where it gets a little weird because it's digital goods. And
Somebody bought that bike initially.
and it's actually hurting the small guy.
Well, G2A claims that all of the keys were bought initially properly as well.
Oh, okay.
Except in the case of stolen keys, or in the case of regional pricing, which actually drives down the cost of what's purchased. Me in the United States can't buy a game with Russian pricing from Ubisoft, but through G2A I can.
The shipping, like of a bike from Japan to here, would be really high, so you'd probably never do that. There would be no regional pricing of bikes, right? There is regional pricing in video games because you can just send a digital file. These allegations about G2A have been around for years. Developers have been constantly annoyed at G2A for failing to crack down on shady traffic on its platform.
And it all bubbled up again recently when Rose, who founded indie publisher No More Robots, discovered that G2A paid for sponsored ads for one of his games on Google.
Yeah, specifically, he found that if you search for the biking game Descenders, you see unskippable G2A ads pop up, and they're above the publisher's own links for the game.
Rose and other devs even asked people to pirate their games instead of buying them through G2A.
What response to that prompt from G2A, Lawrence?
It's kind of the same thing we're seeing right now. It's a very grandiose statement saying they pay any developer 10 times the money they lost on chargebacks after their illegally obtained keys were sold on G2A. But just like with the key blocker, strings attached, to get their money back, G2A says that, quote, developers just need to prove such a thing actually happened on their stores, courtesy of a third party who G2A described as a, quote, reputable and independent auditing company.
And they didn't tell us what the company was.
No, and we've actually reached out to them with a laundry list of questions about their service, the key wholesalers they reference as being legitimate. They haven't got back to us yet. They said, wow, that's a lot of questions. It's going to take some time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're working on a big old expose here. We got questions out to G2A, questions out to developers. We're going to find out where the truth is and what the actual nature of this problem is, because it's something very complicated.
That's great.
You're a regular deep throat.
Trying.
Wait, no, you're the other guy. Sorry.
For his part, Rose said that it's nice to see G2A finally taking a step in the right direction. However, notice how they still completely ignore the actual problem of sellers using dodgy Steam gift links.
Yeah, he also said that he's in this fight for the long haul.
Nice, Mike. Get him. A few days ago, he said, no matter how much bullshit G2A fling, I will not be dropping this. I have them in my crosshairs now, and anyone who knows me knows that I finish what I start.
I don't know him, but I believe him.
Man.
Got like that Rambo suiting up montage.
Like Rambo 5.
Tying his bandana, slipping his keyboard in his backpack,
Dun, 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 dun.
Click, click.
hitting the turbo button on his computer tower.
Click, click.
Dun, 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 dun.
Block.
Da-da.
Reply all.
Today's episode of Inside Game Daily is sponsored by Experian Boost. Let me tell you, when you're going to be investing in those keys, you're investing in your future. When you're buying that bulk of keys, that's inventory and you got to resell it. But to do that, you're going to need startup capital, and to get that, you need good credit. Or, just to get a cell phone without a huge down payment. Having good credit is beneficial in a lot of ways. It shows you're trustworthy. Except that until now, credit has been billed in weird ways. There's a lot of things you do in your daily life that you should get credit for, pun intended, but you don't. Like paying your utility bills, and that's where Experian Boost comes in. If you've been paying your utility bills on time every month, you should get credit for that. It proves that you're a trustworthy person that maybe doesn't have to throw down $200 on a new iPhone. So if you use Experian Boost, it will find a way to show your track record of paying all your bills on time and put that into your credit score. What's great is that it happens immediately and it's free. You're gonna need that. Start your key empire. Keep saying that. This is the gamer's way to live. And also, who needs to pay stuff? It just feels good to be trusted. And Experian Boost can help you do that. To get started, go to Experian.com/inside. That's EXPERIAN.com/inside to boost your credit score instantly and for free. Once more, Experian.com/inside. Thank you for the sponsorship, Experian Boost. But yeah, please run this article that we wrote ourselves. It only costs you credibility.
But they did the work for you.
Yeah, they did it already. You just put it up on your website and
Yeah.
it's fine.
I mean, look, if you don't get caught cheating, you still get the A.
Good point. It all blew up when Indie Game Plus writer Thomas Fowles tweeted an email that he got from a G2A representative who identified themselves as Adrian.